Although the Phoenicians' homeland was mostly located in what is now Lebanon, their reach stretched across the entire Mediterranean, from the Middle East and Cyprus all the way to the Iberian Peninsula. They were part of the ancient Phoenician civilization, which thrived between 1550 and 300 BC. Their city-states produced some of the most prominent merchants, traders, and colonizers of their time, sailing along major trade routes. But how did these seafaring traders rise to become one of the dominant commercial powers in Europe during a big chunk of ancient history? Tap in to discover who the Phoenicians were and explore the legacy they left behind. Phoenician territory. The Phoenicians lived mainly in the eastern Mediterranean, in a region known as the Levant. Today, that's modern-day Lebanon. A Semitic people, they spoke a Semitic language and are believed to have emerged around 3000 BC. Some historians think the Phoenicians were actually the same people the Greeks called Canaanites. Late Bronze Age. At the end of the Bronze Age, many powerful civilizations collapsed. Around the 12th century BC, the Phoenicians began to rise in prominence. City-states. Phoenicia wasn't one unified country. It was made up of independent city-states, kind of like ancient Greece. The most important ones were Byblos, Sidon, and Tyre. Shipbuilding. Starting around 1200 BC, the Phoenicians built large merchant ships. They're even credited with inventing the keel, a crucial part of ship design that runs from the front to the back of a boat. Maritime trade. They established a vast maritime trade network that lasted for over 1,000 years. That network helped connect the early powerhouses of civilization, like Greece, Egypt, and Mesopotamia, making them hubs of trade, culture, knowledge, and new ideas. Merchant families. Across the Mediterranean, Phoenicians set up colonies and trading posts. Merchant families built influence through oligarchies, small groups of powerful elites, trading outposts. By the end of the 10th century BC, Phoenician trading posts had popped up all over the Mediterranean. You'd find their colonies in Cyprus, Sardinia, the Iberian Peninsula, the Balearic Islands, Sicily, Malta, and North Africa. Carthage. One of the most famous colonies was Carthage in present-day Tunisia. Founded around 814 BC by settlers from Tyre, it eventually grew into one of the largest cities in the ancient world. Timber trade. Phoenicia played a big role in the timber trade thanks to its abundant cedar trees. Most of the wood was exported to Egypt, where it was in high demand. Textiles and Tyrian purple. The Phoenicians became famous for producing Tyrian purple dye, made from sea snails found off the coast of Tyre. They discovered the dye as early as 1750 BC. It was tough to extract, which made purple clothes super expensive, something only the upper class could afford. Mining. Iron was one of the few valuable metals in Phoenicia itself, which may have driven them to set up colonies elsewhere. They mined copper in Cyprus, and the Iberian Peninsula was a rich source of all kinds of minerals. Wine. The Phoenicians planted vineyards across the Mediterranean and North Africa to produce and trade wine. They used huge clay jars to transport it. Wine played an important role in Phoenician religion. It was used in rituals and offerings. Some believe they even taught their trading partners how to make wine. Ties to ancient Greece. The Phoenicians had deep and long-lasting ties with the Greeks. The Minoans, who lived on Crete and were forerunners of classical Greece, imported goods through Phoenician merchants. It's widely believed the Phoenician alphabet influenced the development of the Greek alphabet. Rivalries. Because they were divided into city-states, rivalries between them were common, but actual wars were rare. The populations were relatively small, and they didn't really aim to conquer each other's lands. Culture. Their life at sea brought them into contact with all kinds of cultures. By the Iron Age, around 1300 BC, Phoenician culture had fully developed. We haven't found many written records from the Phoenicians themselves. Most of what we know comes from archaeology and writings by other civilizations. Tombs. Inscriptions on tombs recorded the lives of Phoenician rulers and are some of the only first-hand sources we have. Kings were seen as representatives of the gods. They honored their legacies with elaborately carved sarcophagi and tombs. Phoenician women. Women were expected to dress modestly, but they took part in public events and religious ceremonies. In some city-states, they even participated in civic assemblies. Dido. One of the most legendary Phoenician women was Dido, said to be the Queen of Tyre. According to legend, She escaped her tyrant brother Pygmalion and founded her own city, Carthage, becoming its first queen. Also known as Alyssa, she's credited with turning Carthage into a wealthy city through her wisdom and leadership. Her story was later immortalized in Virgil's epic poem, the Aeneid. Beliefs and superstition. Phoenicians made frequent offerings to their gods. Archaeologists have found many small statues scattered throughout the Mediterranean, suggesting these were tossed into the sea as offerings for safe voyages. Article: the Phoenicians were skilled artists, producing ceramics, glass, jewelry, and more for export. They worked with bronze, wood, ivory, and textiles, drawing inspiration from Egyptian, Greek, and Assyrian cultures. The Phoenicians were masters of trade, seafaring, and culture, and their impact still echoes through history. If you enjoyed learning about this amazing civilization, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Here, history comes alive. See you next time.